1.2 HTP engine was one of the first mass-produced three-cylinder engines in the European market. The engine was quite fuel efficient and also offered enough power for little cars like the Skoda Fabia or Volkswagen Polo to travel in the city traffic or on highways. People love the way this engine works, even though it gives slight vibrations and may be a little louder than a lot of counterparts. Skoda cars used several generations of this 1.2-liter engine, starting with the oldest AZQ, AWY, BME, BMD, and up to the youngest incarnations coded CGPA. Interestingly, all generations and types of the 1.2 HTP engine have the same common issues. First of all, the biggest problem is the chain. Actually, it's not the chain, but a very unreliable chain tensioner. The chain can jump after 40,000 miles, but mostly it runs up to 120,000 miles or 180,000 kilometers. The problem is that if it jumps, the engine is dead and will require replacement in most cases. So chain replacement here is just like a regular service that you should do once every 40,000 miles to prevent serious damage. Also, given that the tensioner is pretty bad, you should always use your parking brake for parking, not leaving the vehicle with just an engaged first gear as you would do in the majority of other cars with manual gearboxes. Holding the car in a gear will seriously increase the risk of chain failure. Then it's not that uncommon that 1.2 HTP engines come to workshops with holes in their valves. This mostly happens in countries with a traditionally poor quality of fuel, but it can actually happen at relatively low mileage regardless of fuel quality. Fortunately, the engineering of the engine is pretty simple, so valve replacement will not cost you a fortune, but still, it's not a cheap repair. Among very common but minor problems, I would point out issues with ignition coils that you will replace quite often. Also, injectors get clogged quite often and require cleaning or replacement. The positive crankcase ventilation system may get clogged, especially in winter, and this will cause oil pressure anomalies, but fortunately parts for the engine are very affordable, and it's basically DIY friendly in terms of repairs. Overall, if the engine is serviced properly and the chain is replaced along with the tensioner before it fails, the 1.2 HTP engine can last about 180 to 100,000 miles or 300,000 kilometers without serious issues. After that, it's all up to your luck, and it may be just not financially wise to keep repairing and servicing this engine.